Welcome to the Emotional Support Siblings podcast, where we choose positivity over negativity every day of the week. My name is Luke, and this is my emotional support sister, Sarah.
Hey, welcome back to this week where we're gonna figure out what parts of our personality are we actually. Are we independent or do we just not trust anybody? Am I organized or do I just feel really uncomfortable when I'm out of control? Am I good in crisis or have I just been training for it since 1991?
Mm,
Today we're gonna unpack it.
let's get to unpacking. It's my favorite thing because I'm OCD, and I'm sure we're going to touch on that.
Cool. Dive right in. Tell me more about that. Is that part of your personality or is that a trauma response?
um, Both, probably. I'm sure. Not sure, actually. It is probably both, though. It's weird because
I've
I
not
kind of,
been diagnosed OCD.
yeah, yeah, and it's only with certain things. So, yeah, it is probably learned because I think a lot of them are similar, especially with dad. Like me and dad's OCD from the time when I lived with him and saw the things that he was OCD about has transitioned into the things that I'm OCD about. Like
Like
I'm
what?
telling you, dude, uh, folding towels. There's a certain way
Mm,
to do it, and if it's not done that way, I swear to God, I'll unfold it and refold it. It drives me nuts.
yeah, dude, I used to laugh so hard because I didn't think that I was like that. But I remember going to my friend April's house and we were going to do something and I started helping folding her laundry and she was like, please just don't do that. And I was like, what? And she was like, I'm just gonna have to redo it. And I was like, okay, but I get it now because I feel
Yeah.
the same. Are you a half and a half and then in thirds?
Um. So bang, bang, and then yeah, it's the thirds. It's like where, and our towels have like just like the three stripes, like the look of it at the one
Mm-hmm.
side, and that has to be on the top, facing
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, ours have like the strip, so you have to fold it. I fold in half, like long ways, fold in half, and then fold into thirds, and then the strip you can just see from the outside, and it's nice. Yeah, I get it.
So you get
We
it.
all have our
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
I was OCD about numbers for a long time. I still have trouble with numbers.
In what sense?
I'm just like a counter. I know that this is like I'll listen to music and like I like songs that have like a nice pause at like a 5 or a 10 count mark. So like I'll be singing the words and for some reason I just count them on my fingers like look what you made me do. And I'm like, "Ooh, I don't like that. Sorry, Taylor." Like for some reason in my brain like as I do that.
That's weird. I never. I mean, it's weird, but it's not weird. I don't know. I feel like I'm definitely a numbers guy, but not in that sense. Like,
Yeah, or I'll drive by like houses that have like like house numbers obviously out by the road. And like if I'm riding and I just catch the number in my vision, like I have to add up all the numbers together. And in my brain, I'm like, "Oh, that's a nice number to have because it all equals, a perfect 20." I don't know.
I get that a little bit more. Maybe not so much about a perfect 20, but numbers that like resonate with me for whatever reason. Like
Yeah, you got a lucky number?
I got multiple lucky numbers. Yeah. It's 13, 22, uh 6. 6, 13, and 22.
Man, yeah, see, like I don't know what it is about the number 13, but I avoid, like, when I turn up the volume on the TV, Jonathan knows, like, if I see him turn up the volume and it hits 13, like, I'll look over and I'm like, how dare you leave it on that number, up or down one, up or down.
The
Like,
fact
won't leave
that
it on.
any human being would leave it at 13 anyway is fucking weird. It has to be on a 5 or a 0.
Oh no. See, I'm fine with like a 12 or a 14.
No, dude. You.
You know what I think it is? I blame
Uh,
it on that. You remember that movie 1408?
oh, yeah. Yep.
I think that John Cusack movie really fucked up my brain about things that add up to be 13. That
Was it
movie scared
1408?
me. Oh
That.
yeah.
No. I think.
I will slap bet you. The next time I see you, I will smack. I know for a fact it is.
Numbers that add up to 13? I thought you were talking like there's another movie with Jim Carrey about the number 23. Is that what you're talking about? I
No,
think
I'm talking about the John Cusack movie, where he gets the letter and he goes to like haunted hotels and he gets invited to this hotel and he gets locked in the room and he's like, there's people are like, oh, people don't last even an hour in that room and like he ends up burnt, like, sorry if
yeah.
anybody's listening to this that doesn't want to know what the ending is, but fast forward, he like burns the hotel room and oh yeah. Oh
I
my
didn't know
gosh,
it
and
had
what's
any.
the guy that runs the hotel? Oh my gosh. Samuel L. Jackson
Yeah.
is the yeah. Now you
I
know
mean,
what I'm
I
talking
remember the
about?
movie, but I don't remember anything regarding the number 13. Not in that
Yeah,
movie.
1408 adds up to be 13. On the
Four...
13th floor, room 1408. 8 plus 4 plus 1 is 13. Like I
Oh.
add up numbers like that.
Oh, okay. I was like, 8 plus 14 is 22. I was like, what is going on here? But yeah, you're probably
No,
right. It's been a while since I've seen it.
it's a good one. That's
Yeah.
a good one. You guys should, I mean, you guys love horror movies. Do you think that's part of your personality?
Horror movies?
Yeah.
Yeah. I fucking love horror movies. I,
Yeah. But you don't think that's trauma. You think that's personality.
um, again, I'm gonna say it's probably a mix of both. Because I mean, we grew up in the house, and like we were told that there's ghosts in our house and it's haunted, and
Mm-hmm.
all this shit. So like I was always kind of like fascinated by it,
Yeah.
like extremely like scared when I was a kid, but it also fascinated me. Like I remember as I got older, it was so cool to like talk to like my friends and like still I'll still talk to friends that are like, dude, your house was fucking scary, you know?
That tells me that too.
Yeah, it like and it was, dude. It was an old century home, but when I was like 4 or 5 years old, mom and dad probably shouldn't have been telling me that there's ghosts in the fucking house, but so it probably traumatized me to a degree. But as I got older, like I really got into it. Like I got fascinated by it. I loved like the paranormal and it turned into like slasher films. I remember I watched the first Saw with you, Tyler, and Stephanie. I'm not gonna say their last names, but the four of us watched the first Saw. I was young. I shouldn't have been watching that shit, but I loved it, dude. I thought it was the sweetest fucking thing. But I love those
Yeah.
movies.
That I mean that movie will go down in history as one of like the biggest like at the end of the movie. Hey, like
Yeah,
yeah, that was yeah. I agree. Every Halloween me and Jonathan usually get on some kind of horror kick and we always come back to Saw. That's like the one movie that we're both like we get behind that again.
heck yeah. Yeah, probably Justine will vouch for this. Because she's not like the biggest. She likes horror movies, but she's like I'm in love with them. And I bet you I've watched every single Saw movie uh, more than 3 times each.
Really?
Yeah,
I would say I'm probably about that. I mean, I think I've seen almost every single one in theaters.
yeah, me too. Yep.
Yeah.
Even
Well,
like
you
the
guys
ones
got
that
it.
weren't so good, in comparison to like I still loved them just because I loved the series. You know.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, it was one of those ones that um was a new idea that you hadn't seen, you know?
Right.
Yeah, I liked that too. Anyways, uh yeah, I don't know. That could be like a whole nother episode just talking about us growing up in a century home and yeah, we used to scare people. I mean, I think about using a Ouija board now and I'm like, nah, I don't want to fuck with that. And like back in the day, like that would be something that
Yeah.
we regularly would
We
bust out
had
with
one.
like
Yeah.
friends. Yeah, friends at the house and be like, "You want to play a Ouija board?"
Yep. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember doing that shit. And like, I didn't. No, none of us knew how to do it. We were kids, and it felt like stupid and silly. Like nothing ever crazy happened during that. But I mean, there were times where I was like, "There's something going on in this fucking house." You know.
Yeah.
I
Like
don't
when we
know.
would like lay I remember having like friends over and we would play light as a feather, stiff as a board, light as a feather.
Oh yeah.
I have not thought about that in so long. Like that just brought back deep in the core
I
there. Oh
remember playing that
man.
shit too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude. I
I remember our older brother and I, our closets sat like back to back. And our parents used to mess with us pretty bad, especially about scary stuff. And one night, like our mom was in my room telling Josh and I like a scary, you know, whatever. And we just hear this against the closet. She was telling us about a guy that when our house got built between me and Josh's closet, that a guy in between there with his chainsaw got like cemented in between, and my dad was in the closet in Josh's room making that noise on the walls. And I think that's where, like, before I watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like chainsaws, I'm out. I can't even. It still bothers me to listen to them now.
that's hilarious. I remember you guys telling me about that, how they traumatized you. I don't remember. I don't know if I was born or if I was just too young to like be there, but yeah, I remember talking about that growing up as kids. But yeah, I no, I here's another one. Getting into this is an irrational fear that I have is fucking bees, dude.
Mm, I don't know
I
if that's necessarily irrational. I mean, you got some pretty. You are the bee king.
yeah, they I'm still to the I got stung the other day on a job, right in the nose. And
Oh,
yeah, it was I was putting my hedge trimmers into this bush and within 2 seconds of me putting it in there, it just came out, hit me right in the nose. Um
yikes.
and I will say I'm pretty proud of the way I bounced back. Like I kept doing the job like before I would be like I'm fuck getting paid. I'm not doing this. But in this case, like I still finished the job and everything. But I'm telling you, when I say like how paranoid I got after that, the rest of the job, like I'm shaking with hedge trimmers. Every time like I hear or see anything out of the corner of my eye, I automatically think it's a bee, and it messes with my head, dude. Still, like if I'm walking outside, I don't like bugs in general. Like I feel like sand gnats and gnats and mosquitoes are just attracted to me. But it could be the most harmless butterfly. I see it out of the corner of my eye and I square up like that. It's always a bee.
Listen, I most bugs I don't necessarily mind, but I will tell you, I just went with my friends down to the conservatory in Columbus, and let me tell ya, there's a butterfly walkthrough in there. Dude, I don't know if you've ever seen a butterfly up close, but like moths and butterflies, bro, I'm out. I can't, like, they're never gonna do it. They freak me out so bad. I was like, I'll walk through it with you guys, but every time they would be like dipping. I'm like the 5 Ds: dip, dive, and dodge, whatever it is. And I'm like, "Ugh," like I not for me.
That's hilarious. We did that in Ireland. Me and Justine, we went through like this. It was like a greenhouse just filled with butterflies. I don't
Yeah,
know.
dude, I went to one when I was younger, and I remember that, but I think that even comes from a place of when we were down at Disney doing the 4D theater. We were watching Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And back in the day, like you would go into these theaters and I had my feet down on the floor and there was like a scene in the movie that made it feel like mice were running across your feet. And now, like, I can't even sit at a movie theater with my feet down on the floor because I'm like, oh, yikes, no.
Dang.
So talk about irrational fears. You
Yeah,
you got messed up by some bees.
I did. I got stung in my own bed sleeping at least 5 times while
Yeah,
asleep.
dude. Well, that's what you get for not making your bed, fool.
I guess. Yeah, I guess. I was never taught how to make my bed. I always thought it was just pull the blankets up and make it look flat.
I mean, that's making a bed, right?
Eh, I guess. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
But yeah, that one definitely got the best of me for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm not surprised. You did get tore up by bees a lot when you were little, so
Mm-mm-mm.
uh, yeah. So I guess the question today is who are you when you're not surviving?
Mm. Who am I when I'm not surviving? That is shit. I guess it's like the uh, it's like almost like the meaning of life question. Like it could go
Mm-hmm.
in so many different ways, but I think my truth is I think every day I'm just like unpacking more and finding that out. I remember when I first like got out of treatment and like even while I was in treatment, like they would ask you questions about like what you like to do and
Yeah.
what's your plan and all this stuff, and like I had no fucking clue what I like to do. Like I thought I did, like I could say some things that like made sense and everything, but honestly, deep down, like all I knew for X amount of time was drugs and alcohol and partying. Like that's what I like to do, and I'd forgotten all the things that I like to do, prior to that. So I think who am I when I'm not surviving? Like there's a lot of similarities that I have with, young child Luke. I love to play cards. I love sports. Um, those two are still true today. Uh, but there's a lot of other things that I'm still finding out. I was always so scared of like my career choice. Like I thought it was going to be a forever, and I've switched careers multiple times, in directions multiple times, and um, I feel like it's a good thing though that that's like that I'm okay with that now. Whereas before it used to scare the shit out of me that I didn't know any of this stuff. So I really still don't know who at my core I truly am when I'm not
Yeah,
surviving.
it's
But
I think it's hard to separate those things, you know?
yeah, yeah, I do. Um, because I think that it all pertains. I think like the trauma shaped us. I think
Hmm.
surviving shaped us into who we are today. Um, but I think again, I think it could be such like a positive. Like I don't know if I would have ever been okay with not knowing had I not gone through what I've gone through. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I would have always been in that. It's almost like a state of like limbo, I guess, of just walking through the world, just like unaware. Uh, and when I say unaware, like I mean like I had no sense of like higher power. I had no sense of what a relationship is or means, what it means to truly communicate. Like I think all those things are 100% shaped because of the effort I made to get better. And if I would have just cut out the drugs and alcohol and that's it, like I don't know if I ever would have, learned those things.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think, um, like you said, I think a lot of it is like stemmed from childhood, those first interests and things before like you kind of like had a bigger sense of the world. I can start to see things even with the girls like start to develop like who I think that they'll probably I don't want to say probably become, but things that I think that will be foundational. The same way that like you and I loved sports growing up. Like I still now like, 4 kids later, Jonathan and I are still in like multiple co-ed softball leagues because we just like to be in like a competition sport. Anytime that we are at like his family like gatherings and stuff, we're like, who's breaking out the volleyball net? Like we're ready to throw down, you know? And like you said with cards, I mean, we played a lot of cards growing up and still love to play euchre and things like that. So I think like there's like a foundational sense of that. The positive memories and things that you did that kind of shaped you. Um, and I'm thankful for that part, but I think a lot of it too is into adulthood. Like, what would you say to someone that's kind of going through essentially like an unexpected identity crisis? Like, their world has shifted and now like they don't know who they are.
Mm. I um anytime I think of like a hypothetical situation like this, like I always feel like the thing I say, and people have probably said advice to me that didn't ever resonate until later down the line, but like at if this was somebody that came up and asked me that um said that that's kind of where they're at, uh my biggest recommendation, I guess, would say is try to find the advantage in where you're at. Um, and I mean that in the sense of it's it's better to have an identity crisis than um, being somebody that you despise, or that being somebody that you look in the mirror and you can't even face that person, because then at least if you're at this place of not knowing and everything, like you can do something about that. um,
Yeah, that's such a good mentality to have. Like, it's better to be at basically a clean slate than, think that you have it all figured out and, you know, just continue to live life that way. And one day you're kind of like, man, this is
yeah.
not who I want to be or what I want to be doing. And I think that's so unique to, we're all kind of sold this dream when we're younger. I think in our society, I think that we're told, you graduate high school, you go to college, you get the degree, you get the job, and that's what you do. So I envy a lot of that when I think about you being fluid in your life and changing jobs and pivoting and really allowing yourself the freedom to kind of choose different things and experience different things. And not that like these different career paths that you've chosen haven't quote worked out. It's just kind of like you've gotten to like a new season of life where you're kind of like, I'll keep this as part of like something around me, but I'm kind of ready to pursue this other thing because the opportunity has presented itself. And I think that that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Seriously, I appreciate that, because um, I'm not. I try really hard not to like be egotistical or anything. Like I try to be confident but not cocky. So what I'm about to say, I hope it doesn't come out that way. But that is one of the things that I'm very proud of myself for, is the willingness to pursue those things instead. Because I feel like one of the biggest, like the first time I'd gone through like the steps in a 12-step program, like one of the things that kept coming up was the fact that I procrastinate. I talk about something and I procrastinate to the point where I don't even do it.
Mm.
And that was one of the biggest changes I had to make in my life. So like when an idea comes to mind, um, I try to act on it as soon as possible. So it might come off as impulsive, and I'm sure I've made impulsive decisions, but in the sense of like career choices, every single time like I got my personal training license, and at the time like $1,000 to get your personal training license, like $1,000 to me at that time was a lot of fucking money. Like I
Mhm.
was scared to do it, and and I'm so glad I did. Within my first month of personal training, it paid for that entirely, and I was in the green. Same thing with real estate. Like my upfront costs and the time that it took me to get my real estate license and everything, and then like every when I was becoming a real estate, when I had some interest in it, everybody wants to sell you on all this shit of like, you create your own schedule and you make these fucking bank commission checks, and like that is true. Like it is true, but it's also like it's there's so much more uncertainty with real estate. When the market, it's a bad market right now. I haven't done anything really with real estate, and I just remember those upfront costs. I was like, that's when I started hearing other people saying like, oh, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. After I got my license, I'm like, well, why the fuck did you tell me to do this?
What people
Um,
tell you about having a baby.
yeah, yeah,
Everybody's
exactly.
like, it's the best thing ever. And then you have it. It's like that meme where they're like, oh, we've got you now.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Yeah, because we're like almost 4 weeks in with having a baby. I'm like looking at Justine like, are you how do you feel about what's going on here? Just
Yeah.
kidding. I wouldn't change it for the
Well, but
world.
I mean, like, it's tough.
Yeah.
And you don't really know it till you live it, you know? But yeah, I think a lot of people are like, I watch those videos. There's nothing that, you'll know more than loving your child. But also, like, you will never, ever be more triggered than you are with your children. Ever. I will say that 1,000 times over.
I could believe
And
that.
and it will reveal the things because like before for on my end, I went into having my first child without having a lot of like therapy and a lot of like trauma work, which I should have been doing, but like essentially I wholeheartedly believe that my chronic illness stemmed from a place of being a people pleaser, never having a boundary, working for other people all the time, making sure everybody else was good, everybody was happy all the time, all this stuff. And I think that like eventually body keeps the score, it shows up and showed up for me like you can't do this anymore, you know?
Yeah.
And I think going in, I would recommend anybody that's considering having a kid, like even if you don't have a traumatic upbringing, like just go to therapy for like 6 months, just kind of like work through some stuff and get some like good, you know, get some good paths because you won't ever be triggered more than when you have your children.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm only a couple weeks in, and I would say like again because I've also heard like the horror stories about having children and the sleepless nights and all the things and even like with pregnancy. I'd say like honestly, I don't know if we're just handling it well or if baby's been that smooth, but like we've had 2, 3 like really rough nights, but besides that, we've been in pretty good shape. But I know it's coming. Those really rough nights were pretty pretty rough.
I can't say that though because I think back to like my firstborn and same. Like I had a few days that I was like, "Oh my gosh, like I'm in the thick of it." But it is night and day between my first and second. Their personalities are complete opposite. I mean, their sleeping patterns are like they are just two kids and it really goes for me to show because a lot of people when we were growing up, they looked at you, me, and our older brother, and they would like I have people still ask me like Jonathan's dad all the time would be like, "How did you turn out so normal?" Because growing up in number one, the environment that we did, but also like you and dad and like the amount of like drug abuse, alcohol abuse, the stuff that was like happening around me to be where I was at, that wasn't an issue necessarily in my life. And I think about that and I look at my kids and it all it shows a different light because they're raised in the same environment with the same parents with very similar exposures, but like I can see just already like how different of humans that they are. And we can love them, like, but you can't love your kids the exact same way. Like, Emery needs love differently than Madeline does. I've learned that Emery and Madeline don't do well with the same punishments. They don't do well with the same consequences. So, like, I feel like I was like, I got this parenting shit down. I'm good. Then I had Emery, everything was thrown to shit because that kid she is on another level. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
I
I
love
do.
that girl to death. That girl is going to be Fortune 500, run some company. Y'all better look out for sure. But yeah, she is that one that has put me in a position where I'm like, man, she's just they are born different. They're just different personalities and different kids. It's so wild.
Yeah, yeah. I could definitely see that, especially with your kids and yeah, the differences. I'm excited to see the twins as they get older because I think even just between the two of them, they have different,
Mhm.
personalities already. So, um, yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's cool too. Like on the parent side of things because like there's things that of course like I'm excited for. I'm excited. I keep talking to Justine like all I have, all I literally have is like my humor. Like that's what I got. Like that's how me and Justine like work shit out. It's because like I can be funny. That's all I got with my daughter. Like I cannot wait to hear her fucking laugh because I'm going to make her laugh all the time. That's all. I'm already trying, and she just looks at me like, "What are you doing?" Um, but yeah, I mean, there's so many things that I'm excited
You
for,
might be
and
that too. I feel like I lean more towards like dad's personality type. Like I'm so like he tells me stuff on the phone. He'll be like, I just wish I didn't take life so seriously. I'm like, me too. I literally was on ChatGPT a few weeks ago and I was like, ChatGPT, how do I not take life so seriously? And it's like giving me a list of like, oh, you should laugh more. I'm like, what do I laugh at though? Like, you know what I mean?
I need
I don't
directions.
know. I it was like, tell me more. And it was like, well, find comedians, make a playlist. And I'm like, but I've already heard that joke. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to do. Like, but I do. I take life way too seriously. And I'm like, there's no need for me to, like, it's just life, you know? I don't know.
No,
So,
I know. I used to think I was so much more like dad, and I think there's definitely a lot of like similarities. I will say like I'm pretty. Dad is manic, bipolar, right, and depressive.
hmm
Um, and I would say to some degree I have that, I guess, but it's not like dad at 6 a.m. is one person, 8 a.m. is totally different, 10 a.m. Like it could be like that some days. Like mine is more like um, I feel like it feels more spaced out because there's days where I feel like I'm taking life too seriously. I feel stress and anxiety, and I think that's a normal human condition. But I also think like if you look at things logically, where the day before I was like all happy go lucky, everything's just fine, and what am I stressing about the next day? And I let it get the best of me. Um,
hmm
Sometimes where like I can't seem to like let it go. Like even when I'm trying to like actively like I see it, I'm aware of it, I'm actively trying to get out of it. It's very difficult for me. It's usually like I don't know. Maybe it's like a man period or something. I really it might not be manic, bipolar, or depressed, but I think there's like similarities because of what I witnessed with dad. Like, um, so yeah, I don't know.
I think again, like I think that you and I talk about this fairly often when we're going through some stuff or like especially like we still deal with family dynamics that aren't necessarily very pleasant. So, and you and I have that kind of relationship that like it's not I know that I shouldn't say that it's different, but it is different, okay?
Yeah,
Where like a lot of like the conversation that happens in the background is kind of like, "Oh, did you hear blah blah blah?" And where it feels kind of like, "Oh, it spreads like wildfire." Whereas like you and I kind of come together and we're like, "Well, I heard this and I heard this," and it's kind of like this unity, like, man, that's so crazy. And but and we both, I think, because of that, like we do have our moments, like our feelings still get hurt, things happen. We both do try and I think genuinely come from a place of just trying to keep the peace a lot of times. And the further I get into a lot of stuff, the more I'm like, I don't see the necessity in keeping the peace for other people who genuinely don't give a fuck about my peace at all.
right.
Like they're like, whatever we can do to keep her up at night. But I mean, like, and I will have conversations with myself in the shower, like, I feel like I'm gonna let somebody down. I'm gonna disappoint them. I still battle that deeply. It is so hard. Like, I rehearse these conversations. Like, how do I navigate it? What do I do? But a lot of times, like, my therapist straight up tells me, like, you just act like you are a little gray rock, Sarah. You just, I don't know, just like literally
Yep.
pretend like there's nothing there. I'm like, it sucks because I feel like you and I both have like I may be biased, but I think we have great personalities. So I'm like, it makes me sad that I can't show that off and be appreciated for that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think like we've both, and like our family dynamic, I think we've both kind of like found our way and our people. in
Mm.
our family dynamic, and I think that's just like true to the world too. Like as you grow, like there's I forget if it was last week or if it was a phone call between us, but um, basically like shedding, uh, like friends come and go, people come and go. Like there's quite a few people, and it's bothered me for a while, but there's quite a few people that I was very very close with, like coming out of rehab, and that like taught me so much. Like were the roots of like my recovery and sobriety and all these things that I'm not so close with anymore. Um, but I also think that just comes with growth. It sucks and it's uncomfortable, and I wish things were different. And it's the same with like our family. Like um, I think most of these things could be mended. I really do. But I also think it takes two to mend them. And
I also think it would take a fuck ton of mental health
um,
that people aren't willing to get.
yeah, but I think even that is um, like perspective is everything. Because I mean, like honestly, I could get just as much mental health. Like I could learn so much about mental health if I had a willingness to be aware from reading a book or going online or whatever. So like that's all up to said person. I think obviously in my experience, counseling and therapy is the move. I think it makes the most sense, but um, I do think a lot of those things could be learned, but it takes somebody acknowledging that maybe their way isn't working for it to work at all.
Yeah, but I think that that's what the problem is. Like I had recently watched a video or whatever where the um it was a therapist on TikTok, and I wish that I could give her credit, but she had said something along the lines of like, you know, if you allow a behavior the way that I think that like it perpetuates the behavior, where like a lot of the conversation is like that's just who they are. Like you just kind of have to let them be. Like then you give that person like there's no accountability. Like you're allowing this not great behavior because you just don't want to deal with it. And then what ends up happening is the person that's saying like, hey, this isn't right and this isn't normal and this isn't okay, now is getting punished. Like that, and that to me has shifted my perspective into like I used to have that same state of mind as like, I want to meet people where they're at. And some people don't know any better and they can't do any better. Like I felt that way for a really, really, really long time. But I also think that it's a surrounding environment that allows this negative thing to be perpetuated. And then the person who gets punished is the one that's calling attention to it, where you're just supposed to keep your mouth shut and keep it moving.
Yeah,
And I'm like, that's also not a great way to be. Like, and I'm not trying to put anybody on blast. And like, I'm not the one standing up at Christmas telling everybody like, you guys cool with this? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
we all know that it's not a normal thing to be happening, but yet you want to be mad because I don't want to allow the behavior in my life anymore, which I think is fucked.
yeah. Well, I think I think the only people, and I could be wrong, but I think the only people that truly feel that way also have some things that they need to work on and address. Um,
Sure.
because again, I think the people that in our family, for example, that we've found that are we're like these are our people. They get it, you know.
Mm.
Um, Not to say that they don't have things that they need to work on too, but the fact that they see it our way and they're like, no, dude, I get it. Um, I feel like the ones and this again, this I'm talking about our family dynamic, but this is in life in general. Like uh, I used to be the type to ask for advice or ask if the decision I'm making is like okay, right or wrong. But I
Hmm.
would ask multiple people until I got somebody to co-sign my shit.
Oh yeah.
Like, so I feel like if you
You knew
surround,
what you wanted to do, but it
yeah,
felt better when somebody was like, yes, yeah. But it's really hard to make those decisions when you don't feel like somebody has your back about it, too. Like, I still feel that way. And I think that's why a lot of times I call you when stuff's going on because I'm like, am I wrong? Because I don't know. I just recently learned this in regards to that is like I was talking to my therapist about the stuff, the dynamics and stuff in the family. And I was like, dude, I feel like if I keep cutting people out of my life and keep making this decision, like if everybody else is the asshole, maybe it's not them, maybe it's me. And I was like, I feel like I'm crazy because I don't feel like what I'm experiencing is that far off. And then she's the one who told me, she was like, you've got to look at it in like a systems approach. When the family dynamic in entirety, which is dysfunctional, not just this one component, but the whole dynamic from the entire perspective, the whole system's broken. She's like, if you were having problems in your marriage and in your coworkers and in the people that you go to church with and your friend groups, and you're having problems with the family unit, she's like, then there's a bigger issue and you got to look internally. She's like, but when the system's already broken, there's not another way around it. You've got to look at all of the components that are in the puzzle. And that was the first time that for me, like it felt like lifted. I was like, that makes sense, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that 100% makes sense. And I think, again, it's one of those, like, um, ideas where uh, I feel like if your experience had been different, right, in any way leading up to um, the last, whatever, 6 7 years, as like you've kind of became more distant from family and the family dynamic, I
Mhm.
think if experience had been different previously to that, like you may have not made that decision, or you may have made it earlier, or whatever, you know what I mean? So like, again, back to what I said about the guy with the identity crisis, is like, um, I believe that is so advantageous. I think that's why you and I connect on that level. Like, yeah, it still gets to us. Yeah, our feelings still get hurt and we wish things were different. But I can compare where I'm at now and my feelings and almost this stoic kind of view towards it as
Mhm.
much better than it was a year ago, 2 years ago, when I was wrapped up in the shit all the time. You
Yeah.
know, I can get my feelings hurt once or twice a year and let it last a
Deal with
day.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when it was a constant and I was constantly looking for that person to change alongside of me, it was
Hmm.
taking over me,
Yeah.
consuming me.
Yeah. Well, let's pivot. Let's go to a place. Let's think of something positive. So, what what do you enjoy now that has nothing to do with healing? Like nothing in regards to like that, going to therapy and counseling and all of these things. What do you enjoy that has nothing to do with that part of you? Yeah, an interesting thought, right? Because really, like, I know both of us have this mindset, like, we want to keep getting better and keep pushing, but like, what do you enjoy outside of that?
I mean, it's weird because, like, of course, I have things that I like to do, but I think because I'm so attached to that feeling of healing and recovery,
Mm.
and I feel like these things that I enjoy wouldn't enjoy unless I had been in recovery. So I feel like I relate them all to some degree, but I know something that I love and that I'm very passionate about is playing poker. I love playing Texas Hold'em. I love it playing it with my friends, playing on my phone, whatever. That's like my
You
all
play
time.
Texas Hold'em on your phone?
Yeah, dude. I fucking any chance that I get, I play cards. I just got a text a little bit ago that they're having a game today, but um, I know that I love it. I love playing cards, dude. If I had the money, I would probably be a gambling addict too.
Well, that's good that you have, the ability to not, though, go put it all on red in fucking Vegas.
Yep. And then the only other thing I can think of is, I mean, I'm sure I could think of more, but the first thing I think of on top of poker is football season. Um,
Well, we were just talking about getting fantasy started,
yeah,
man.
Fantasy
Yeah.
football and football season, dude. Sundays are my day, dude. I love sitting at
Same.
home, eating fucking crock pot meals with the NFL ticket with 4 different games on, red zone, 3 different fantasy apps going,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
betting prop bets at $1 a piece to see if one hits. It's best time. Fall weather, hoodie weather, fucking pumpkin spice. Luke is nice. Let's do it. Uh,
I love that, man. Same. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Well, and I was gonna say the other thing that we've kind of recently started bonding over is both of us running.
yeah,
Um,
I was gonna say that, but I kind of relate it to healing.
Sure. I mean, again, like I think a lot of these things, obviously healing nice and being comfy in the fall feels very healing. So I mean, I think that there are some intertwined, but I think that's something outside of my thing that for me, it's not I guess it is healing in the sense that like for a long time because my diet was so limited, I didn't have the fuel for my body to do anything greater than just walking. And now I've gotten to this point where like I have multiple proteins and like, lots of veggies and stuff. So Luke decided to tell me that he has set this amazing goal for himself that by the first of the year, he is going to be ready and running a half marathon, right? A
Full.
full marathon.
Yeah.
A
One
full.
full marathon on January 1st, 2027. I'll probably
So that's the
probably
goal.
live
Yeah.
stream it.
Hey, I love that.
Yeah.
Hopefully people will find us by then. But so because of that, we have plans to go down and visit in the winter of this year, and the weather down obviously in Georgia is a lot more mild. So we were talking about running a 5K together because
Hell yeah.
I'd like to think that at some point maybe I'll get to marathon status, but like I've never been a distance runner. So this has been something new that for me has been like a full new experience. Um, I know you don't see much on camera, but I am a whole 5'3.5", and I have big solid legs, and I am a short distance sprinter. That's it. I play softball. I can get from home plate to first base. That is the goal every time. Bam, bam, here and there. So for me, I've had to move into this place of like pacing myself, and I am not used to that.
It's tough. That's the toughest part for me too. Um, yeah, I learned luckily when I got into running a couple years ago. Like I joined a run club, and I tried just being a part of it. But I remember I was like, how do these people like not
Hmm.
only know their pace but like control it and their breathing and they have these goals and how do they get there? So the one guy who like was part of the group that like ran the run club, I went with him like twice a week on the night and on Sunday, and he taught me how to pace. He taught me how to like what we're looking for on how to breathe and if you're going too fast and when you need to slow it down or when you need to speed it up. Like he taught me all those things, and
Wow.
it's still difficult for me because like I usually just go based on a feeling. So, but whereas before when I would do that, I would be gassed like at mile 2. Like I would just be,
Mm.
I would have to stop and walk. Where now I'm running 2, 3 consistent miles at the same give or take the same time.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing thinking, you're just now getting back into it after a pretty fairly long hiatus too. But I mean, the body, I mean, it's amazing. It stores those things. I mean, it remembers to do the things that we want it to do. But yeah, I think that's awesome. I'm really excited for this emotional support journey
Hell
in
yeah, dude.
fitness
I'm so
too.
excited that you're on it too. Talking to anybody about running that has never been a runner is
Hmm.
like it's like they're staying away from the fucking plague. Like
Yeah.
they want nothing to do with it, you know?
Hmm. I know.
So it's really cool that you're getting on
Me.
board with it. I love it. I know, dude. I kind of was the same way when I first got into running. Like I was like still freshly like getting into recovery, and I smoked cigarettes forever. I vaped forever. I just did not treat my body right. So like I
Hmm.
looked at it like, why would anybody fucking run if you're not being chased? Like it made no sense to me.
Right. Yeah,
Um,
and my body's already been in free, fight or flight for all these years, and now I'm just telling it like, yes, you've had it right this whole time. We need to run away fast.
yeah. Um, so no, I really do love that you're getting into it. I'm excited to do this 5K with you when you come down, and the fact, I mean, we've been talking every time that she runs or I run, we always send each other where we're at and everything. And you did 2 miles just uh,
Hmm.
yesterday, right?
Yeah.
You know that's 1 mile away from a 5K.
I do, but I feel like I'm still a fair long way off because, like I said, pacing is hard, number one, and I do have a lot to learn. Like I said, I've never been a distance runner, but I will say, I think the weather here helps. It's been very nice in Ohio for July. It has not been really bad right now. It cooled off, and also, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I'm at my high school weight, and the f- the thing is, like the last time I was trying to be a runner, I was 60 pounds heavier, just freshly postpartum with twins, and I think Jonathan's brought up like a 50-pound like weight from the bench in the basement, and he like came up and he just had it in his hands, and he was like, here, hold this. I was like, for what? And I grabbed it. I was like, oh my God. He's like, you've lost more than that amount of weight off of your body. And I was
That's
like,
awesome.
holy shit. And it was heavy, like I could
Yeah.
barely hold it. It's amazing that my body was able to do that at all. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. And yeah, it is kind of cool to compare. That was actually the biggest reason why I'm even doing this is because I'm the heaviest, that I've ever been. Um, yeah, I mean, I weighed 213 pounds when I made the video that I put on social media, um, and that's by far the most I've ever weighed. I've touched 200 a few times, but um, I know, and this probably sounds extreme to some people, but I know like looking back and thinking back of like when I felt and looked the healthiest, I was sitting at like 175, 180. Um, and I think that for somebody my size and height and age and everything, I think that's attainable. And starts with the two things that I worked on this week. It's diet and getting active. So
Yeah.
um,
Well, now I'm running, so I have to hold you accountable, which is why I keep texting you, because then you gotta shoot your shit back at me and be like, well, Sarah went out and ran, so I better go do it
oh
too.
yeah, yeah. I do have kind of like an ideal training program. So from the time I started until like August, it's going to be at least 3 runs a week.
Mm-hmm.
That's
That's
it.
my goal
It
too.
it doesn't have to be these same 3 days. I'm trying to make it the same 3 days. I'm trying to make it Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, so I get a little break in between each. But no matter what, 3 runs a week.
That's
And that's
great.
just to kind of get back in the feel of being a runner. And then after that, it's from then until I run the marathon, it's 4 runs a week. And each week gets progressively more miles. So,
Listen, follow along. Follow along with him. Let's end on something reflective between the two of us. Um, so outside of who we are without the trauma, who do you think I am without the trauma as my brother?
I think I think you are um, the most
Don't find something too fast.
huh? I'm trying to find a way to word it, but I think you're the most resilient person I know. I think that uh, you have taught me that obstacles are only obstacles. They can always be achieved. Um, I value the way you are a parent and a mother to your 4 children. I love the way that I see that you are a parent. Um, I'd say you're, one of the best moms I've ever seen with your children. And I just really love and the way I think of you is what I strive to be in sense of willingness to grow. Uh, I've always looked at you as the perfect child, and it has shifted my thinking to, it's one of those things where you think somebody has a silver spoon, but they have problems too. Um, and the fact that I've always thought that you were the perfect child, and since I've gotten sober, like I've seen you go to counseling and therapy and overcome these things with your health, your physical health, and now you're running with me. I mean, it inspires me. Um, so, yeah, I would say you are a resilient, wonderful mother who makes life obstacles look like it ain't shit. That's that's emotional support sister Sarah for you.
Mhm. Yeah, I think if I had to wrap you up, um, this is one of those questions that I wanted to end on today, just like on this level of positivity. You you have it's hard sometimes because I do look at you as like my little brother. You know what I mean? So it's weird sometimes to think about us being in our 30s, really doing life together. Where we're parenting together and we're focusing on health together and we're in marriages and separately.
Yes.
You have a partner, I have my partner. But um I think for you, I think that some of the trauma is so tightly woven into who you are, but the things that I think about you as a person at your core, your lightheartedness and your ability to, really adapt. Uh, you're not one of those people that, you're not stuck in your ways. You're willing to listen. And because of you have this deep willingness to learn from others, I take um, a great piece of that with me that for a long time I think that I thought my way was the only way. Things in my life were very black and white, very, this is the right way or this is the wrong way. And as I've grown, I've seen such an ability. I think that one of the biggest stepping stones in our relationship was in the thick of a tumultuous like political season, being able for both of us to sit down and have like a really good conversation where you started with like you knew I was opinionated and saying to me that hey, I don't really want to talk about it, but me approaching it from the sense of like, no, I'd really like to hear what you have to say because I respect and value your opinion as a person, and it may not have changed anything, but I wanted to hear, not because I wanted to argue, but I genuinely wanted to listen. And I think that you have shifted things in my life so immensely that I didn't think that people could change. I watched you go through sobriety and become this person that I was like, people can change. People can get better. And because of that, I believed in myself that I could change it, I could be better, and I could find a better way. And I think that that's really driven me in my life. So I think that that's a remarkable quality that you have.
Damn. Well, I appreciate that, and I love that, and that's exactly what we do on this podcast. Outside of this podcast, um, if you think we just get off this 1 hour a week and don't have these same conversations the next 6 days, you're wrong. Because this is what we talk about, dude. And I think it's so important to have people like I have my sister. I think it's so important to have people that that you can learn from and that you can teach and that is gonna boost you up and not tear you down. I think I speak for both of us here that we've had enough people where it feels like we're getting tore down all the time. So I really appreciate you saying that, dude, and it's a reflection of the things that you've taught me. And yeah, man, I'm really grateful for you in this podcast.
Me too.
Hell yeah, this was a solid episode, dude. I love that. I love it. I love it. I'm almost in tears. God damn.
Uh, Don't do that. Then I'll have to cry, and I'm an ugly crier, and I talk about that a lot in therapy. My
About how
inability
ugly of a
to cry.
crier.
Yeah, I refuse to like cry because I know how terrible I look when I do it. So I just cry in the shower and then I'm like, I just got water in my eyes. Anyways, next week,
Next week, hit him with it.
um, yeah, next week, are we actually even healed or are we just better at coping? Who could say?
Or are we just shit talkers and we're not really about it?
Yeah, are we just faking it till we make it?
Yeah.
We're gonna hash it out next week, talking about healing and coping and yeah, follow us on the socials. Find us where, man, we are having a hard time. Some stuff that's hitting on TikTok, it ain't hitting on Instagram and vice versa. So we're just trying to figure out what you guys want. So tell us.
Yeah. Yeah. And give us some pointers. Tell us what you'd like to hear and what you think would be a really strong topic. Um, we would really appreciate that for real. So
Yeah.
yeah, find us on Instagram, TikTok, um, YouTube, and Spotify is where we host this every Monday morning. Sometimes a little bit earlier, sometimes a little bit later. But the goal is Monday mornings at 7 on YouTube and Spotify. And yeah, email us emotionalsupportsibs@gmail.com. Email us, let us know what you're thinking, let us know if we can help, let us know if we need help, because you might see something that we don't.
We need so much help.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Happy day, y'all. Have a good day. Take care of yourself. And as Julie Chen Moves says, love one another.
Love one another. See you next week.
All right. Bye.